Hello everyone, back tuning into today's second video doing an Ensembles Watch for today's second video. So I'm going to take you through all of the GFS Ensemble members, including the operational and the parallel GFS runs, and you're going to see what the GFS is showing in terms of its ensemble as we look out into the first half of December. Will there be any sign of colder weather through the first half of December? We'll have a look at what GFS Ensembles have to say very shortly. So, bringing on with that though, just to say that the 13th and final Winter 2018-19 update was released earlier on today at GFS this morning. That video will be placed on the Winter Updates page very shortly with a written summary as well, going over everything discussed in the video. And then that's it. The winter updates are finished and we have got to get the winter forecast together, which will be in 1 week's time. So just another week to go and you'll find out what GFS is forecasting for winter of 2018-19. Well, I better start with this, actually talking of the winter update. So, this is the chart we showed you yesterday for Siberian, Eurasian and Scandinavian snow cover. So this was from the 23rd of November on Friday. And just trying to change the colour. So this is from the 23rd of November on Friday. We said we have got pretty decent snow cover across Western Russia and even into the east of Europe. But Scandinavia looked a bit bereft of snow, looked very poor. And we get, in the winter update, we went back through those years going back to 1998. There were very few years actually back to 1998 that had that little amount of snow across Scandinavia on the 23rd of November. But wouldn't you know it, as I was recording the video, Saturday's snow cover chart was coming through, and look at that, a huge increase of snow cover took place across Scandinavia during Saturday. So if I've been able to show you that when I was doing the 13th winter update, if I've been able to show you that, it would look very, very different. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to wait yesterday evening for that chart to update, so I had to show you Friday's chart. But obviously, if that had come through in time, then the comparisons back to 1998 would have looked very different. So I thought I'd show you that at the start of this video. Quite a few people have tweeted and messaged me about it, and I'm aware of it, but there we go, just one of those things we had to get on with recording the video yesterday evening. We just didn't have time to wait for that chart to update. But I'll show you it now anyway. And a big increase in snow cover did take place over Scandinavia during Saturday. Right, so we'll get on with Ensembles Watch then. So we're going to go through all the members of the GFS Ensembles. There's 20 of them to go through. It's 22 if you include the operation, which I'm going to start off with, and also the parallel. I'm not sure if the parallel will have updated fully by the time you finish this video, but we'll have to see. So we're going to start off with the operational GFS run beginning on Wednesday. So we've got this big area of low pressure out to western UK. I think it's going to be named Storm Diane by Met Aaron and the UK Met, so it's going to be proper wet and windy time of it through the middle part of the week. All change in the coming week. This particular GFS run then looks like that as we go through to next weekend. Stays unsettled with low pressure driving in from off the Atlantic. So this first week of December still shaping up to be unsettled with the GFS anyway. I think all of the other models are indicating quite unsettled conditions through the first week of December too. We're up to the 5th of December. Day 10 is looking like this. A little bit of a change starting to take place by then. Some ridging is appearing to the south of the UK and also starting to try and push northwards a little bit as well as this low pressure is to the north of Scotland. That looks like it's trying to get itself into a colder pattern. Let's see how that develops. So we do have a go at building that ridge northwards actually on this operation run for GFS, but it doesn't quite come off, and so what we finish up with is an area of high pressure just sitting over the top of the UK. That will be bringing lots of dry weather and probably quite cold conditions too. A lot of frost and fog will be possible with that as we're running into the end of this GFS run. That's as far as we can go to Tuesday the 11th of December, and we've got the high pressure centred generally to the southern part of the country. So slightly milder as beginning to move into the top across Scotland, but still mainly dry, and frosty, foggy conditions would be possible there. So that's how the operational GFS run. Now let's go run looks. Now let's go through the GFS Ensemble members. We'll move things on a little bit. I don't think we'll start on Wednesday, so let's move things on to around a week away. So that takes us to Sunday the 2nd. That's where we'll begin looking at all these ensemble members. Because I think next week we know that, or this coming week, we know that it's going to be turning more unsettled. So let's start this Ensembles Watch on Sunday the 2nd of December. When, of course, we're going to be releasing the Gaz Weather's Winter 2018-19 forecast, of course. So we start on with the control member of the GFS Ensemble. So this is run at a slightly higher resolution to all other ensemble members, but at a lower resolution compared to the operational GFS run. So this is kind of like an in-between ensemble member, if you like. It's a more important ensemble member than the others because it's run at a higher resolution, but not as high a resolution as the operational GFS, which we was just looking at. So that's Sunday, looking rather wet and windy with the control member of the GFS Ensembles. We move through up to day 10, and again we're trying to build that ridge northwards, but this time it's building northwards in towards Germany. So that keeps us on the mild side with those southwesterly winds continuing to move in off the Atlantic. We're heading to the extended range with the control member of the GFS Ensembles, and we keep it pretty unsettled. Really low pressure just continues to be moving in from off the Atlantic. So that one obviously is an unsettled member of the GFS. I was trying to raise heights a little bit over Greenland and Iceland, but nothing really coming of that. It looks pretty unsettled right way through to the 11th of December. This is ensemble member number 1, and it looks unsettled with low pressure out to the northwest on Sunday. Wet and windy weather is blasting away across the country. Let's see what happens with ensemble member number 1. So we start to build that high pressure northwards around day 10, trying to push it northwards. Again, it doesn't quite make it though, so we keep the wind moving in from off the Atlantic there as we're going through the second week of December. It stays unsettled and actually a little bit stormy there to the northwest of Scotland with ensemble member number 1. No particular cold weather to speak of with that one. Ensemble member number 2 looks like that. Low pressure to the north of Scotland on Sunday looks very unsettled. We go through bring another low pressure through, so that keeps things wet and windy around the 4th of December. And then we head on beyond day 10 and we keep low pressure close to the country driving in from off the Atlantic. That looks a bit stormy, a little bit cold as well with those northerly winds slinking down across the country. Then we're trying to build up a little bit of high pressure. So finishing up with ensemble member number 2 on a mainly dry and fairly chilly note. Ensemble member number 3 looks wet and windy in a week's time, and that unsettled weather stays with us up towards day 10. Bringing up a long fetch southwesterly with this one, so that's very mild, although high pressure is increasingly building across Europe and ridging into the UK. Now, we've got to Saturday the 8th of December with ensemble member number 3, and we're trying to build heights across Greenland and Iceland, so maybe the first hints of something a bit colder. What's going to come of that? Well, yes, we do actually build that high pressure to the north, ensemble member number 3, and we turn the winds into the east. So this is turning much colder here as we're heading through the second week of December. Much colder easterly winds, probably bringing snow showers into the east there with ensemble member number 3. Ensemble member number 4 looks wet and windy in a week's time, keeping things pretty stormy as we go up towards day 10 and turning things colder as well as the wind turns into the north and we get these areas of low pressure diving south through the UK. Then in the extended range, so on Sunday the 9th of December, looking quite stormy and pretty cold as well. Notice pressure is rising out to west of the UK. So that one's finishing up with low pressure slipping down across the country there on Tuesday the 11th. And we're starting to pull in a very cold northerly wind as that low pressure exits away to the east. So that was turning things much colder with really cold northerly winds setting in by the 11th of December. This is how ensemble member number 5 is looking. So unsettled next weekend, and it stays unsettled as we run up towards day 10 with low pressure very close to the country. Then it turns really stormy there on the 8th of December with that area of low pressure moving down the North Sea. So that will take gale force winds and maybe coastal flooding down the east coast. Turns the winds into the north and we get this area of low pressure diving southwards. That could bring something a little bit wintry. That's another colder one, albeit not as cold as Ensemble member 3 and 4. This Ensemble member number 6, and it shows wet and windy weather continuing up to day 10. Then we start to build some heights over the country. This is similar to the operational run, I think, with high pressure very close to the country, probably bring mainly dry but frosty and foggy conditions, no northerly or easterly winds with that one. And we stay anticyclonic but turn things milder in the extended range up to the 11th of December. So that's a quiet one, and after initially frost and fog, it probably turns things milder. This is Ensemble member number 7, and again we have low pressure close to the country running up towards day 10, so very unsettled conditions. We are raising heights to the north, though, of Ensemble member number 7, so that's having a go at getting things colder there. That high pressure is slipping down over the country, bringing dry, frosty, foggy conditions, but it's still trying to maintain a ridge up towards Greenland and Iceland. We finish up looking like that, very cold across Scandinavia. That's severely cold air sinking down through Scandinavia. We've got this high pressure to the northwest of the UK, bridging up to Greenland. That's dry and probably threatening a very cold spell of weather if we could run out a few more days beyond that. Ensemble member number 8, very unsettled conditions once again up to day 10, and then in the more extended range, keep this area of high pressure very close to the UK, building it in, trying to move it northwards, but probably not quite able to do so. Although, by the very end, it is trying to get up towards southern Scandinavia. That was just turning things increasingly dry, cold and frosty as we go through the second week of December. Ensemble member number 9, unsettled next weekend, very unsettled with low pressure moving through the country. What's going to happen with this one? Well, we're up to day 10 or a little bit beyond day 10. Winds have turned into the north with high pressure building to the west of the country. And that high pressure is trying to get a ridge up to Greenland. So here we go again, Saturday the 8th of December, low pressure is moving down the North Sea, and with the ridge building through the mid-Atlantic towards Greenland, we've got this northerly wind setting in. That one's turning things a lot colder through the second week of December, albeit it's not lasting, it's not a block setting up with that one. So a northerly snap, and then we're going back into milder westerly winds by the 11th of December. Ensemble member number 10, and we're halfway through, looking like this, very unsettled over the weekend, and then as we go up towards day 10, building high pressure into the UK. That's similar to what the operational GFS is showing as well, with high pressure very close to the country, but not able to get itself northwards. So just bringing dry, cold, frosty, probably foggy conditions through the second week of December, but not true Arctic or Siberian cold. Then we've got Ensemble member number 11, and that one is unsettled over next weekend and beyond that. Heading up towards day 10, we try and turn the wind into the north. There it comes, but it doesn't quite come off, so we just keep this area of high pressure again very close to the country with Ensemble member number 11. Again, much in line with what the operational GFS was showing. We finish up on the 11th of December under high pressure, probably dry, but with frost and fog. Number 12, Ensemble member number 12, looks unsettled next weekend, and as we get beyond that into the more extended range, we have high pressure to our south with this one up to day 10. So that's bringing a very mild southwesterly up to the country. This one's looking rather different. And going to more extended range, and we just keep the winds from the west or the southwest, and it turns quite unsettled as we get to Tuesday the 11th of December. So that's another option that is on the table for this second week of December. This is Ensemble member number 13, looking stormy in a week's time, and then we go beyond that up towards day 10, and we take that low pressure through the country and start to get this ridge going in the middle of the Atlantic. This is going to be a colder one, I think. This is up to day 10. We've got low pressure to our east by this point, high pressure through the mid-Atlantic, pushing up towards Greenland. That's going to turn the winds into the north. So look what happens with this one. We pull down a proper northeasterly wind there. That's a lot colder than Ensemble member number 13. 13, probably bringing snow showers to northern and eastern parts of the country. That's how we finish up. Still pretty cold, but with high pressure just to our west. Ensemble member number 14, stormy and unsettled next weekend. We're up to day 10, still looking pretty flat with a westerly flow. I don't think this one's going to do anything particularly cold. This one's going to maintain westerly winds, I would have thought, although right at the very end, just hinting at a few northerly winds. But that one's a lot milder, ensemble member number 14. So the GFS ensembles really are split tonight between the milder and the colder options, or an in-between option, which is where the operational run went, with high pressure over the top of the country. This is ensemble member number 15. This we're looking stormy next weekend, and then we turn the wind into the northwest, so turn things a bit cooler. We're building high pressure over Scandinavia with this one in the more extended range. And look at this, we drop that low pressure to our south, we turn the winds into the east and the northeast via that Scandinavian high. So that's a very cold easterly coming in there through the second week of December with ensemble member number 15. That one much colder in the second week of December with easterly winds. That's another option that hasn't been well supported so far, but that's what ensemble member number 15 is showing. Ensemble member number 16 is unsettled. It's wet and windy next weekend. Beyond that, we take that low pressure away to our east and we build heights up from the south again. Eventually we're moving into a second week of December, and we're taking that ridge up to the northeast. So that's getting itself into a colder start. It takes a long while to do it, but eventually we are starting to put in some colder easterly winds as well. This is ensemble member number 17, and that one is also looking quite unsettled next weekend. Beyond that, with ensemble member number 17, we build a ridge to our east, trying to get it up to Scandinavia. Don't quite manage to turn winds into the east, so that was a more anticyclonic, frosty type scenario for the second week of December with ensemble member number 17. Ensemble member number 18 is stormy next weekend, and then beyond that we take that high pressure out to the west of the country. We're trying to build it northwards, trying to get wind into the north. Very cold air moving into Scandinavia, not quite bringing it off of the UK. So this one, number 18, has a good go at turning us colder, but actually keeps things relatively mild and settled. Number 19, again, quite stormy next weekend. And then we get up towards day 10 and we're pulling down some colder air from the northwest. In the more extended range with ensemble member number 19, again, we keep the winds coming in from a westerly direction. So that one is relatively mild and unsettled. And then finally, we've got ensemble member number 20, and it looks like that with low pressure out to the west of the country next weekend. And then in the more extended range beyond day 10, having a go again at building that high pressure up over Scandinavia, but it's not going to quite pull it off. So we keep things generally on the milder side there up to the 11th of December with ensemble member number 11. So the last two or three ensembles were generally on the milder side. The final thing I can show you is the latest update of the parallel run of the GFS. So this will become the operational run of the GFS model next year. At the moment, it's the upgraded version, if you like. At the moment, this is being run in parallel with the operational run. Let's see what that is showing. So we go up to day 10, building heights up to the southeast. Will we get that high pressure to anywhere particularly cold? So it takes into a frosty and dry scenario around day 10 and keeps that going. It is trying to ridge it up to Greenland, interestingly. Not really able to pull down particularly cold air, but it's having a good go at it, raising heights over Greenland. We are dropping very cold air into Scandinavia. So there we are at 384 hours. And that's a sort of chart that could go either way. That's a little bit poised, really, between allowing the Atlantic back in or possibly bringing this very cold air down from Scandinavia. So very much on a knife edge where that will go. The final thing I can show you is the graph, see if that's updated yet. So let's just show you yeah, we can see that, again, very much demonstrating the split within the GFS ensembles. So this is the milder, wetter, windier spell that's coming up around the middle of the week through to the first sort of 2-3 days of December, up to kind of like a week tomorrow. And then beyond that, through this rest of this first week of December and into the second week of December, that's the split that we've just been looking at, with several ensemble members going for those milder options, but several of them also going for colder options. And so it's around, I think that's probably around a 50-50 split between the ensemble members that are milder and the ensemble members that are colder. So basically, once we get beyond like the 3rd of December, all options are on the table for the rest of the first week of December and even into the second week of December. All options are on the table. It could stay mild, wet and windy. It could become a lot colder quite quickly. Several of those ensemble members really did become much colder, and they did it very quickly within 2 or 3 days. So that's what we'll be focusing on, I would have thought, in the updates in the coming days over this week, if you like. I think we'll be focusing on what's going to happen through this first half of December. Will it be mild, or will we turn things quickly colder? More updates to come in the days ahead. Don't forget to check out the 13th and final Winter 2018-19 update. The video's here on the homepage right now. Just scroll down page a little bit. You'll find it above the stow desk. And very shortly, that video will be placed on the Winter Updates page with an extensive written summary that goes with it as well. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.